This is a clay bar cleaning kit, which has the intended purpose of removing contaminants from your bike's paint, or rather its clear coat. And this is my 2008 R6, which usually I would consider to have close to perfect paint. So why on earth would I want to be clay barring it? So this kit is actually one of the things that my girlfriend got me for my birthday, because she knows I'm interested in detailing and she's seen me look at it before. But basically I like learning the concepts of detailing and how to do it, but I'm not obsessive with it. So I keep my bike as clean as possible and I look after it to a point where it doesn't frustrate me, but I'm not as obsessive as a lot of detailers are. So before we start clay barring the R6, or I explain why I want to clay bar the R6, let me first show you what's in this box and what it entails, and tell you a bit about how it works, because chances are you haven't heard of it if you're not into detailing. So this kit comes with 4 pieces. The first thing is this showroom instant detailer, which basically just acts as a lubricant between the clay and your paint. Secondly, there's a microfiber cloth that I'm trying not to get dirty. And then the other 2 things is what you would expect. So these are 2 bars of clay. It's exactly as the name suggests. It's pretty simple. Okay, so the way the clay barring works is you would take your lubricant, or in this case showroom detailer, and spray it on your paint surface. Once that is lubricated, you can take your clay bar and rub it across the surface fairly lightly. The clay should attach itself to any contaminants like small rocks or dust or anything that has embedded itself onto your paint surface. So that'll almost pull it out or off of your paint, leaving it as good and as fresh as it could possibly be. So clay barring is usually something that you would only do on a vehicle that has been standing in poor conditions for quite a while. So if you rub the paint of a vehicle and you can hear it scratching or it feels rough, then it probably needs to be clay barred. So at the moment, mine is very smooth, it's just been washed, it's regularly polished. It doesn't actually need it. I am going to do it anyway, but that is purely to learn how. For example, when we did the Project R1, when we got it, the paint was very rough. The owner said that the bike had been sitting outside in the elements and on sand for probably close to 2 years. So the paint felt awful. So if it hadn't been resprayed poorly and if we didn't wrap it, this is exactly what I would have done to try and restore the paint. So that is why I'm going to be clay barring my R6 today. Not because it needs it, but because I want to learn how to clay bar properly in case we ever get a project bike or buy another bike, that this could be beneficial to do on it. So step 1 is to wash the bike. I did this before I started the video because you've seen me wash my bike far too many times as is. So if you want to know how I wash my bike, check out the video in the top corner, how to scratch your bike less while washing it. So the first step with clay barring is to open your first clay bar on a clean surface. I'm going to use my bike because it's the cleanest thing that I have out here. And this probably isn't the best place to be clay barring, because if I drop it I have to throw the whole piece away because I'm just on the driveway. But it's not windy, so it shouldn't do any harm. So all we're going to do is break off a small piece of clay once you fight with it for at least half an hour. That is the recommended time. We're going to put that on another clean surface or in a Ziploc bag. So once you've broken a small piece of clay off, you're supposed to knead it into a little round disc. Okay, so here is my little round disc. I have no clue if this is right, but I'm going to give it a try and hopefully it works. And I'm going to be starting on the tank because this is probably one of the most important pieces of paint on your bike and something that you like to keep protected. So we're going to do it in sort of pieces. First off, I'm going to try and do this area and see how it goes. Hopefully we get nothing out of the paint and that this looks clean afterwards, but it might be scary. So first we're going to spray a bit of lubricant on it. We're going to wipe it off. So rather be excessive with it, and the minute it starts to feel dry, apply more. So we're going to do back and forth motions or up and down, straight lines and not circles. You can actually feel what's on the paint as it rubs over it, and then it slowly gets smoother. It doesn't look like anything actually came off, which is a good sign. And then we're going to dry the spot that we just put the detailer on so that we don't leave any mark, and then we can feel the paint. The only thing that feels different is that the polish that was on it, all the wax is actually being removed, but the surface feels very smooth. So I think even though you can't really see it, it probably did get something out. Okay, so if you were to get a lot off and this is starting to fill up, all you're going to do is knead it into a disc again, just so that all of the stuff you got out goes into the clay. And you can use this on quite a few vehicles apparently. On this, it doesn't even look like there's a lot coming out of the paint. But for example, when I did the headlights, it feels really rough and it gradually gets a lot smoother. And even now it feels a lot smoother to the touch. It doesn't necessarily look different. This doesn't look dirty, but you can feel that it is actually making a difference. So the one place that I've always wanted to fix on my bike, and the one place I suspect this will actually make a difference, is here under the tail. Because these mud guards on the R6s are mainly for aesthetics and they don't do much guarding from the mud, even though they do look awesome, this area tends to get hit with a lot of rocks and a lot of debris. So as a result, it is pretty beaten up and there's probably quite a lot of contaminants in there. So I'm going to fold this into a new little disc and see what it can do for underneath my tail. So that little piece that I broke off at the beginning of this video did the whole bike without any trouble, and it could keep going because it's not dirty whatsoever. So we still got 2 big pieces left and pretty much a whole bottle of detailer. It's not bad value for money and it'll last me pretty much a lifetime, I think, at least my next 100 bikes. Well, this turned out to be a pretty anticlimactic video. Literally nothing came out of my paintwork, which is a good thing, but I'm kind of disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, I was very scared that a lot of stuff would come out of my paint, but there is your proof. If your bike lives indoors and if you take good care of it, you don't even have to worry about clay barring. But it's a good thing to know for the future. So with that done, you can feel the paint is down to its clear coat. So the last thing that I'm going to do is put a coat of wax on it, just to put some protection on it and to get that shine out of it. I promise I am actually polishing. I know with the white on white you can't see it at all, but I am. Well, unfortunately, that wasn't an exciting clay barring video like a lot of them on YouTube are. It wasn't an R6 that has been sitting in a scrapyard for 20 years where I could have brought the paint back to life. But anyway, I learned an awesome skill that hopefully I can use in the future. Hopefully I taught you something that you might use in your life. And believe it or not, the R6 does actually feel a lot better, especially under the tail, even if you can't tell on camera. So don't forget to hit that like button if you did enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.